Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just posting that I'm live, and then we can just get right into everything that's going on. If you recall last stream, I got into it with Benjamin Cowan. That was actually very funny. Good times. Share screen, I will in a minute. I wanted to start just full screen and talking to everybody, and then I'll flip it over. What's going on? Cheese lover. Bro, I love you. Bless me with a membership. That was nice. Just tag me in Kanto public chat if you're already in the Discord, and just do that, and then I can get you in. What's up, Crystallized? It's funny, I've been seeing you like in all the other trench chats, dude. I've been, I do watch like the other trenchers pretty often. It's a very interesting scope to see the way that like other people are constantly trading on a daily basis and their comms and stuff. Yo, cheese lover, thanks for the prime. I appreciate that. Good shit. Use your prime on me. Hell yeah. What's up, Caribbean funds? I'm actually in a pretty good mood today, so hopefully this is solid. Use it for comms. Yeah, a lot of those guys do find like the thing that's actually interesting about doing or like watching other streamers and stuff is that you can get like if you don't pay attention to like all the stuff that they do, and then when they actually find something like super early, like let's say that you're sitting at your desk and you're just scrolling Twitter, doing something and not really paying attention, and then someone's like, "Bro, what is this?" It's like always kind of funny. I mean, having a voice chat is always like the move. What's up, Carlito? So yeah, I'm gonna flip around my screen in just a second. I want to load up like all these tabs. I'll be honest, I haven't really been trading much the past week. It's been like a pretty it's been like a weird week. I tried trading this like one coin on base yesterday, and it just did not hit. Yeah, I've seen Goyam. I'm kind of mad because I was like looking at it at the lows. This is one thing that I did actually want to talk about, so I guess I could just like flip it over. What's up, Wheezy? Let me make sure I got my clipper in here so that he can see it. You got in at 900K? Yeah, I have like a whole thing that I want to talk about. What's up, Mikey? What's up, Darkspawn? What's up, Corvex? Dude, everybody's in here. Hey, Third. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys the nice haircut. Thanks. I'm only doing Solana. Is that really bad? I mean, no, but you can definitely like you should pay attention to other chains. Like I can talk about that in a second too. Let's load up these two questions, the Goyam thing and then like the trading on other chains. Those will be like the two things that we start off with. But I think one thing that I need to do is start to make the stream a little bit more structured. And so I feel like a lot of times what I'll kind of just do is like get on and like look at charts and it'll be kind of sloppy. But like what I want to do is like, for example, Cheese Lover subscribed with Prime. Alexa came in and subscribed 30 months. And I need to get back into being a little bit more, like I said, just structured with everything. So I'm like building out a clip team and I just want to focus a little bit more on being more productive while streaming because as you guys know, I like to make content and stuff, and so I think a big part of streaming is making sure that the content is solid. And whenever I do stream, there's like a good it's a better vibe instead of me just like being an asshole. But yeah, Alexa, thank you. I hope you're doing all right. I know it's Monday morning. Thank you for the 30 months. Super crazy. Probably like one of the longest subscribers that I've ever had. A lot of you guys don't know, but I used to stream back in like 20 from 2018 to 2021 very consistently, and Alexa was one of the people that was constantly around, like always around. Alexa was like helping start the Kanto Discord as well when I first like turned it from like just my bullshit little like community into like a crypto based community. But yeah, I think one thing to mention about being a content creator over all this time is the fact that I did start streaming back in 2018, and I streamed for 3 years while I was working a full time job. And then in 2021, I wouldn't really necessarily say that my stream was doing great. I had built a community, but it wasn't until I pivoted over to crypto, and I stopped doing all gaming stuff in 2021, got into crypto, NFTs, meme coins, shit coins, and that kind of thing. And then it just took off. And so it is a lesson in that, like, if you're doing something and you find something else that catches your interest, to like go after and pursue that, because that's pretty much what happened with me. And I'm personally really happy that I got into it when I did, because I know that there were a lot of people that didn't get into crypto until like even last year or something. So just because you're doing something doesn't mean that like you have to stick with it forever. And a lot of times like it's better to move on and try new things like after time. Because now like what's actually funny is that my Twitch stream does better now than it did back then. A lot of it of course is because I did build a community and whatever, but yeah, I just wanted to like toss that up and just have the conversation, because I do think that anything in life, when it comes down to stuff that you're doing, you have to stick with it for like a really long time, but you want to stick with the right thing. And I think that that's like one thing that a lot of people will struggle with, is like you do one thing and then maybe you don't necessarily like have a lot of success with it. And so you have to pivot over time or try new things. And a lot of people don't like change. Like, I mean, shit, I don't like change either. So yeah, it's definitely something that if you want to be successful and you're trying things like this, you definitely have to like give stuff enough time to work, and then at a certain point either pivot what you're doing and stay within that same thing, or to just try something entirely different. Because if I had stayed doing what I was doing back during those days, the only way that I would have really made it is if I would have started to like clip more, and if I had done better at like marketing myself. But with that being said, I was doing a lot of gaming stuff, and gaming is like dead. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but like gaming is not what it used to be at all. So being in the gaming sector of things, especially these days, is just not the move at all. Third, we should clip that, by the way. I feel like that would be like a good, I could toss that up even though I'm full screen. That would be like a good one to have. I am gonna flip my screen around in a second, but I did want to just say what's up to everybody that's in here, and then afterwards we can do that. But yeah, I want that one for sure. And also just know, like, if I talk a lot about clips, it's because I want to be like very specific about not wasting like people that are clipping the stream their time. And whenever I do stream, I want to make it a point to try to, if I'm talking on stream and I'm saying things that I think is valuable, I want to make sure that I can pull that content and then post it so that people that don't watch stream can see it. So that's kind of like a no shit kind of thing. Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys already understand that that's like how content works and whatnot. But yeah, I just figured that I'd say that. So, pfft, yeah, I woke up like 2 hours ago, so I'm feeling. I've been getting more sleep, so that's good. Okay, so what were those two things that we were going to talk about? Uh, I don't remember what. Oh yeah, the base thing, and then the Goyim thing. So we're gonna go through. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go through like a bunch of charts. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. I'm gonna give you like my thoughts on things. I'm gonna tell you some things that I've been struggling with personally, like in this market, and things that I want to improve on. And I actually think this coin is a good place to start with it. So someone in chat asked about Goyim, and what's interesting is that I feel like we have been seeing this a lot recently. And so let me pull up another chart before I start to do this. This is just crazy. Okay, so someone in chat asked about Goyim, and I actually wanted to talk about this a little bit because I feel like there's a couple different ways to trade the market right now. And I think it's kind of difficult because you have a couple different things, right? For something like Goyim, this got pushed super hard. There's like a community that's around it, and it went from like a mil all the way to call it like $10 million market cap. And so you can top blast stuff like this and you can get into it. And I feel like trading the first run up is solid because that's what everybody wants. Like everyone wants to get in while things are going up and they want to chase the pump. And then once a coin like dies off, a lot of people just stop caring about it. And so one thing that I will say is that I almost feel like these days it's more worth it when you see a new coin that comes out that has a community and some sort of good narrative to just top blast. And you would almost rather like buy into a pump and hopefully like not buy the top of a coin opposed to buying on dips, because I've always been like a dip buyer, but the money to be made on this coin was here and then here. But in this range, you could have gotten absolutely fucked because it just dumped and it never really bounced. There wasn't really an opportunity to get in. And this dumped for like almost 5 straight days. And what I've noticed is that there's been a lot of coins that have started to do this right here, where they'll go to like 10 mil and then dump to 700K and then pump all the way back to 3 mil. And so I feel like there's been other opportunities like that too. So Claunch is like a really good example of that. Claunch, there was like a lot of money to be made on the way up, and then it chopped for a bit, broke down, and then literally just for same thing, 5 days just dumped off. This bottomed at like 3 mil or something like that, and now it's already back to 13. And so what I would say is that one of the most difficult things right now is because there's not like a lot of coins that are coming out on a daily basis where there's just like tons of runners. And so I feel like being able to identify which coins can do this right here and this with Goyim right here, like that is one of the best skills. It's like, what are the coins that come out that go super crazy, die off, and then can have like a pump back from the lows? Because once they get this low, you just see the community and you look at it depending on what the narrative is, and you can kind of say to yourself, huh, like this has the potential to run back. And a lot of these are doing like 5x from the bottoms. This is something that I've personally struggled with a lot. And I feel like that's the next skill that I want to really get good at is like if you miss the big run up, keep tabs on coins, be super patient, wait for them to mega bottom out, and then catch some of these moves. And you don't even have to catch the exact bottom. Like you could have bought this at like a mil and still hit like a 3x from the lows. So yeah, I feel like that's like a really big thing these days and something that I personally want to get way better at. Psyop anime thoughts? I think Psyop anime is really solid. Their content's really good. People's attention spans are really low though, and everyone just wants catalysts for everything. So it's like that's what really sucks is that even though Psyop anime is really good, everyone is just like rotating and pulling money out of coins that are even good just because they want to go and buy into something else. Yeah, Buttcoin is like the perfect example. But like, dude, I remember seeing Buttcoin at 3 mil, and I was like, this is dead as fuck. Like the fact that this went from the fact that Buttcoin went from 3 mil all the way to like what 50 mil basically is just insane to me. I'm actually kind of mad that I didn't buy the dip on this because that would have been really solid. But yeah, Buttcoin is like another great example of that too. And there's so many of these. So I feel like a lot of times you can kind of like spend your time looking for new runners, but you can also spend time looking for bottomed out coins. Like I'll give you a good example. Molt, like is Molt going to run it back? Molt went to 125 mil market cap and now it's just like in this like infinite dying range. Like, is this just gonna eventually curl back and go up to like 30 mil again? Did I hear about Discord? Maybe it's time to pivot to Telegram. I wonder if that's like legit, if people are, if that's actually gonna be a thing. I feel like that won't be though, because that'd be kind of stupid. I can make a clip about that though. So let me pull it up real quick on my other monitor. So if you hadn't seen about, yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, if you haven't seen this yet, so Discord says that they are going to require a biometric face scan or ID verification for full access next month to protect teen safety. And I really don't think that this will end up happening. I feel like if Discord does this, it is going to absolutely destroy their company because Telegram, people already use Telegram. A lot of people prefer Telegram. They actually like it a lot more than Discord. I would say that a lot of people already don't like Discord to begin with. I personally like Discord. I'm very used to it. I use Telegram as well. But from a business standpoint, there are going to be so many people that don't want to use Discord anymore that already didn't want to use it before. And it's because people don't like to KYC. They don't want to give up their information. Yeah, your phone is always listening to everything you're saying, but people don't like voluntarily having to give information and especially like a face scan about things if they don't have to. And so there comes that conversation where someone that uses Discord will say, am I going to do this or am I just going to never use Discord again? And I feel like a lot of people are just not going to use Discord anymore because of this, if this ends up being a thing. So I don't know if that actually ends up happening or not, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm not particularly thrilled about this. I feel like people are already all over Telegram over Discord. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. Uh let's see. TeamSpeak? Yeah, I remember TeamSpeak. What was the other one? It was like something house, tree house or something. I don't remember what it was called. But yeah, there was something. Fuck, what was the name of that thing? I don't remember. Maybe ask questions here in the chat. Yeah, so in case you didn't know, I'm streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and X all at the same time, and all the chats like kind of route into each other. So you can type in any of them. I see you're up thousands on different trades. So what's your trading strategy in the trenches? I quick scalp basically everything. So like I look for new pairs, but I mainly wait for coins to become a little bit more established, and then once they are, I just trade stuff like that. So um one thing is that on base, I feel like you can buy a new coin, maybe not so much like today specifically, but like you can buy new coins and do due diligence on them, and a lot of times they'll be like less ruggy. But on Solana, I feel like being early is really tough because you basically have to have a 50 to 100K entry on any good coin on Solana, or else your risk is too high. Like buying coins in the 300, 400, or $500,000 range on Solana is so tough because whenever there's a good runner, they're bundled like crazy, and you always have people that are in these coins that have such low entry, and they could be up 2, 3, 400 SOL on a coin that's at like 300K. And so when you're buying into a coin that may have a good narrative, people will just full stack everything into the volume. I've seen the videos of it, you've seen the videos of it, and it's not great because there could be a coin that has a great narrative and it gets killed because people that have too much supply don't scale out slow. Whereas people on base and stuff, there's a lot of people, this was happening on base and BNB too. A lot of times, the best traders, what they'll do is they'll get into a coin super early, but they know that they have a lot of supply. And so what they do is they sell very slow, and that way it doesn't kill the momentum. The coin will run way higher. They'll scale out as it goes way higher. And a lot of times, if people are holding a lot of supply on coins on base or BNB, they'll like buy dips. Not a lot, but like they'll buy the dips to try to like hold up the coin and keep it alive so that it can have a second leg. Whereas on Solana, people don't give a fuck if they have like a 50, 100, 150K market cap entry and they're up like a lot. They will literally kill a coin for their own gain immediately, even if it means leaving money on the table on a good narrative that could potentially run higher, simply because that's like how the people are. It's totally like that. And so I actually feel like base and BNB are a lot better for runners. Like there's way more coins on base that have gone over $10 million market cap than Solana over the past month for sure. There's not even a question about that. It's tough for coins on Solana to go higher than $10 million market cap, but there's a lot of them that have gone over 10 mil on base. And it's just because like the trading base is different. No, I don't know what Ventrilo is. How exactly do you differ and how do you differentiate how exactly do you differentiate between a rug pull and a running coin in the first 5 minutes of the release? Well, you don't know most of the time because there's so many variables. Like a coin could run and then there could be another one that comes out. Um, if a coin is bundled, you don't know what the intent of the people are that are in a certain coin. And so you basically have to enter into a coin that has a good narrative and size appropriately to be able to say, I'm happy with what I put into this coin if I'm right and it goes up, also knowing that a coin could rug at any given point. So I mean, there's ways to tell if something is gonna just be an absolute complete rug, but you're gonna have to take risk regardless. So yeah, it's really hard to know. Would I say that FNF's ruined Soul? I think what ruined Solana is more so the way that people trade. So when you look at something like base and BNB, a lot of those traders are more mature, I guess you could say, to where they let coins run more if they're good. Obviously, if something's trash, people aren't going to want to bid it regardless. But on base and BNB, what tends to happen is that if there's a coin that has a good narrative, the people that are getting into it are buying, and a lot of times, like, they'll hold good narratives if it's good enough and they'll run. Whereas on Solana, I think the difference is that all of the people that are on Solana, they're all tracking the KOL scan and like these trenchers that stream and stuff. And so everyone's mind is basically wired on Solana to where it's all 10K market cap, like shitters. It's all quick flipping. It's all getting in at 6K, selling at 10, and just doing that over and over again. And so nobody on Solana even believes in runners at all, which is why it's a miracle whenever coins actually do go from a million to 5 to 10 million on Solana, because there's so many things that has to go right. And so I feel like Solana basically just turned into this thing where you have 98% of the people that are trading on it that are just copy trading, and they're only looking at brand new coins that are at $10,000 market cap and will never buy something over $50,000 market cap or like 100K. And when everyone's mind is like that, you get rid of all the whales and the people that would normally like to bid coins and put more money into coins, because they're like, oh, well, why would I buy a coin if I know that, like, you know, the chances of buying size on a Solana coin and actually being able to win a trade are a lot lower than they used to be. So I think that's really like what happened. Would you say it's easier to make money on base and BNB than on Solana? I think that you just have to find what works for you, because um, there's a lot of people that they're like, I only trade on Solana and I don't trade on base. And it's like, if I'm looking at my computer right now, I'm looking at Claunch, okay? I can click over, okay, this is on Solana. Okay, Buttcoin is on Solana. Toilet is on Solana. Banker is on base. Like Claude is on base. I already pulled this one up, but Kelly Claude is on, it's on base. And so all you really have to do is just keep base up and keep Solana up and just click between the two. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other. You have to just understand the difference of how these coins trade and what you're looking for on each chain depending on what's going on. Because like right now, everything on base is all AI, right? Like it's all AI coin. Like there's no meme coins or memes that are running. So if there's like something that comes up and it is a like meme or news style thing, it's probably not going to launch on base. It's going to launch on Solana. And so the chains are just, there's different stuff that runs on different chains. And so you either never pay attention to base and only trade on Sol because you just don't want to learn, or vice versa. But I always keep money on all different chains. Thoughts on Banker? I'm really mad that I didn't buy, because I was looking at this when the whole market was dying. But my thing is that I remember back during 2022 when the market started dumping, kind of like how it did last week when Bitcoin went under 60K, and everything evaporated. Like everyone was just like, coins were going down 90% in a day. And normally I'm somebody who likes to buy the fear, but that was definitely that was there was a lot of fear in the market, and even I didn't really want to get into it. But yeah, Banker is really solid. When using base, are you using USDC or ETH? I use base ETH. You can technically use base USDC if you're trading on like Uniswap or something like that, but dude, my nose is like bothering. God damn. Thoughts on Pigeon? I haven't even looked at it. Does a lot of the stuff that I'm saying make sense? I should keep this up. And by the way, everything that I'm saying is like, it's easier said than done. It's really hard to execute on a lot of this stuff. And it's very easy in hindsight to be able to sit and talk about it. You know, I've kind of been asking myself, does this pull a white whale or is that just cope? Because I kept saying when everyone was buying this, I was like, yeah, there's not going to be another white whale, blah, 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 blah. But everyone seems to love the idea of potentially being in the next white whale. So metals and stock ripped like crazy. So this year, either Bitcoin's going to do the same or we're in a bear. Well, what's probably going to happen is I was watching a couple videos and just looking at the market. And if you look at the stock market, I can pull this up real quick. So if you look at the stock market, the last times that the market has dipped was COVID. It was when we kind of went into like a bear market in 2022, the Trump tariff thing, and then now. And so if the stock market dumps and this goes to like 6K or something like that, then Bitcoin and everything is going to take a shit. And it definitely feels like we are in a time period where the market is ready for a retrace. I'm not saying that it's going to dump like super hard, but with the way that unemployment is and everything, there is a good chance that we're going into a recession. A lot of people don't want to hear that or believe that, but the fact that gold and silver just pumps so hard, it's not out of the ordinary to think that the stock market might have a slight retrace where this goes from like 6,900 down to 6K, maybe a little bit lower. Bitcoin might be front running that already because the market is obviously way quicker and there's a lot less money in crypto. So it's easier for, you know, if people are like shitting their pants and they're scared about what's going to happen, there's a good chance that that could happen. But yeah, gold and silver mooning and then, you know, flushing the way that they did was not good. And I think just everything like the markets, stock market, crypto, housing market, everything is pumped like way too much. And I think people are starting to feel kind of weird about it. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But yeah, I'm not buying anything yet, by the way. I think one of the reasons as to why I have felt okay over the past week or two is because I've been 95% in cash for all of 2025 and I've just been waiting. And I've been trading and stuff, shit coins like I normally do. Like I don't do leverage or anything, but I've basically just been waiting because I'm saying to myself, if I can be patient and if I can deploy tons of capital into Bitcoin, Solana, Hyperliquid, and if I can do like get good entries in DCA when things are starting to dump a bit, then that's going to be the trade. And then otherwise, if the markets don't do terrible, then shit coins and everything will probably keep doing good and I can just trade that and then that would be fine too. But I'm not going to sit here and say that like I'm a super seasoned investor over, you know, in the stock market and everything, because I made all the money that I made in the past 4 years. But I do pay attention to what other people that have been in the market way longer say. And I remember my last bear market where I wish that I had been sitting in cash. And so I'm young enough to where I can deploy money into the market when it dumps and make a really good trade. And if for some reason the markets don't dump, then I can just DCA into stuff that I like as time goes on and be fine that way too. So I did really well this cycle. So I just, my thing is I don't want to end up in the same situation that a lot of like the trenchers or like first cyclers are making, where they were stacking 5, 10, 15,000 soul, and you know they were multimillionaires, and now their entire net worth is cut in half because they never sold, and now they're holding Solana and everything at $80. If we're in a recession, the stimmy checks will save us. Well, we don't know if that's going to necessarily even happen. Okay. Yeah, what is this Met coin? I saw somebody buying that. Yeah, what the fuck is this? Metronome? Hold on. I don't even have FOMO up. Let me pull that up. I don't even know what I'm fucking looking at. Do I believe that Solana will go on a run again? Maybe. Probably. So here are my thoughts on, let me pull up like the weekly. Why is this not like pulling up the whole thing? Here are my thoughts on Solana. So last cycle, Solana went to $250, and then it dumped all the way down to like 8 because FTX collapsed and they were a major holder of Solana. And then during the bear market, Bonk launched, and then people started using Solana more because there was a community around it and there were NFTs on it and stuff. And then shitcoins like really started to pop off on Solana. And so obviously like everyone moved from ETH to Sol because it was faster, cheaper to transact, cheaper to transact on, and that kind of thing. And so Solana became like the home for shitcoins and meme coins, and it became the casino. One of the things about Solana, though, is that it's inflationary. So on a daily basis, there's a shit ton of Solana that's being emitted. And that's why, if you look at this, for example, the market cap of Solana at the top of last cycle was 77 billion. Right now it's at like 50 billion. And it's, and if you think about it, like the price of Solana when it was at 76 billion was like 250, and now the price of Solana at 48 billion is $49, right? Or $89, excuse me. So the market cap of Solana didn't dip that much from the top, but the price of it did, because there's so much more Solana that's now in circulation, if that makes sense. So a lot of people love Solana, but it is an inflationary asset. You have to assume that there could be a new player that comes in, because you also have to think about this. Why were so many people buying Solana in this area? Because they thought that they could make money on shitcoins. And when people were seeing meme coins go crazy, they started buying Solana like crazy, right? So here's the big thing. If people don't feel like they can make money on a chain, are they going to buy the token? The question that I would ask you guys, because a lot of you guys are trading and you're watching in chat, is do you feel like it is harder to trade now than it was in this area? And so you have to think about it from that perspective, that people are only going to want to buy the casino token if they feel like they can win in the casino. Ethereum underperformed like crazy, and it was the laughing stock of the entire crypto market up until it went on that one crazy run at the in like the end of last year. So that's going to be the question that you have to ask yourself is, will Solana actually be able to offset the emissions and the inflation with the amount of capital that's needed to push it to new highs. Now, I like Solana because I do think that it is fast and cheap and all that kind of stuff. But you have to think about it from a culture standpoint. People don't want to trade on a chain where they don't feel like they can make money, because otherwise, people would rather buy something like Hyperliquid. If you buy Solana, you are buying the casino coin for meme coins and shit coins and that kind of thing. If you buy the Hyperliquid token, you know that you are buying the casino token for on-chain perps. Tons of people do perps, right? And the connotation around perps, in my opinion, is that a lot of people would prefer to do perps opposed from meme coins, because they feel like you can gain more of an edge in perps and you can do leverage and it's less, instant ruggy type thing. And Hyperliquid is doing buybacks every single day. They're making over $1 million a day. And so these are questions that you have to ask yourself, where it's like, you can trade on Solana if you like it, but you have to ask yourself, where is the culture better? What has the potential to be a better hold? And so my thing is that I think that there's nothing wrong with holding enough Solana and trading on Solana to where you trade on it if you like meme coins and shit coins. But you have to ask yourself, is holding a larger amount of Solana actually worth it compared to holding something like Hyperliquid or Bitcoin? And so that's what I think that a lot of people, and especially like a lot of trenchers, are going to have to find out the hard way, is that if the trenches are too hard, who's going to be the marginal buyer that's going to come in and is going to want to buy Solana? And are those buys going to offset the inflation of Solana over time? That was a super long-winded thing, but these are over the past week, because the market has been dumping super hard. I've been asking myself, like, am I going to buy Solana way lower? And what's my expectation? Like, let's say that Solana goes to $50. Sure, I would go and I would deploy money into Solana and I would hope for like a 2 to 3x. But what altcoins could outperform that? And I think that's what I've been thinking a lot about. Solana has much more utility than Hype. Comparing both to casino chips is kind of linear, when Solana has more technology than casinos, whereas Hype is only a casino. Okay, but you have to think about it like this. Solana is at a $50 billion market cap, right? And it's inflationary. And then you have to think about Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is at an $8 billion market cap, and it has a capped supply. Right now, yes, there is supply that is being unlocked, but if you think about it from the standpoint of like even just FDV, right? Would you say that more people in the world do perps than trade shit coins and meme coins and are interested in the DeFi that's on Solana? That's the question that like I would personally ask in that scenario. Because I actually think that there are more people in the world that do perps and care about leverage. And it's not even just perps, because also you can trade commodities on Hyperliquid now. Like you can trade gold and silver. And so now there's a place on chain where you can directly, I mean, yeah, you could technically like buy like a wrapped commodity or whatever on Solana too. So I guess that's not like a super fair assessment. But if you're talking about doing straight leverage, like you can lever gold and silver on Hyperliquid. And you also, once again, just have to think about, the community and the culture around it too. So, and by the way, when I say all this stuff, I'm just going off of what I read on a daily basis and what I notice in the way that I think about things. And One of my biggest indicators that I personally use as like a bear case for Solana in general is the fact of what do most people use Solana for? Casino chips to trade shit coins and meme coins. Are there other things on Solana that people want to use like DeFi? Sure. But you have to ask yourself, why are people going to buy Solana and hold casino chips if you are betting on this being a specific casino? If this casino is getting more and more difficult, and there are, what I would say, probably less people that are making money using their chips to turn their chips into more chips via shitcoins and meme coins on Solana than there was when the market was pumped. And it's also not even just like, are people making more money doing it, but it's the idea of making more money doing it, because people might have been buying Solana up here. Obviously, we were in a bull run, but people might have been buying Solana up here because they're saying to themselves, like, I want to hold Solana because this is the casino token and I think that it's going to go way higher. And in the meantime, I'm going to trade around my Solana and try to turn it into more Solana. Whereas if the overall sentiment of the trenches is not what it used to be, now there's still opportunity, but it's not what it used to be. And as time goes on, Solana is inflationary. I think you have to ask yourself, like, who is going to be more willing to hold this token moving forward? If it used to be like, oh, you had like a 70-30 chance of making money on Solana or whatever it may be. That's probably not like a good way to put it. But like, if your chances of making a lot more money up here by holding the casino token was more in somebody's head, like they were thinking that, opposed to now, I feel like that's the question that you have to ask yourself, is like, are people willing to hold the casino token, opposed from like, they'll just buy 50 Sol and just trade with that and then not be buying like a lot of Solana. That's like I think that's the question. Look, I need to pee. Third, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna ask if you don't mind. We're gonna have to make like a bunch of different clips out of these, and splitting them up is gonna be important because I feel like we can get like a lot of different like good clips out of those. Um, yeah, but I feel like there was a lot there. Um, let me pee and then I'll finish this, because just so you know, this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'm gonna go pee. I have money to deploy, and I'm not going to just buy Solana or another asset just because it's what did well in the past, because there were a lot of people such as myself who got burnt buying Ethereum, where there were a lot of other things that outperformed Ethereum, like even just Bitcoin from the lows. And so I don't think that just because Solana did really well 6 months ago, I don't think that it's just a slam dunk to think, oh, Solana is going to be the best possible bid at the bottom of whatever bear market is, or like a good DCA, just because just because everyone on the timeline that trades shitcoins that you follow is saying that it is. So I hope that makes sense. Like, that's, to me, in my opinion, you have to realize that there are going to be a lot of people that are still holding Solana that never sold, that they have no choice but to bull post it and to think that it's going to be the coin that is the best altcoin next year or next cycle. Um, because it very well may not. And the people that are wanting Solana to do really well, you have to think about like what their incentives are as well. So think about that real quick. I'm going to go pee. I'm going to be back in like All right, and there was a message that I saw. So Chief Grizzly said, "I'm calling for a low for Bitcoin around 30 to 40K. In my opinion, we are in a bear market. I believe 126 was the top, and I'll be buying ETH at around 1K. Been trading perps for a few years with Bitcoin losing the 200 moving average and monthly candle red and weekly sell pressure. Market looks like crap. I'm also 90% cash, and in my opinion, I wouldn't be holding any crypto right now." I actually agree. I think that you're basically on point with that. Um yeah. Like that's basically validating everything that I just said. So just know that like when I say a lot of the stuff that I'm saying, I don't really care if I don't really care if how do I put this? It doesn't have to be Solana. Like it can be anything. Like I just want to be in whatever the best coin is. I have no loyalty to any of these coins. I don't care if I have to bridge all of my Solana off of like Sol and move it back onto EVM and buy Hyperliquid or buy ETH. I mean, shit. Honestly, this sounds crazy, but like if this is something that I don't think anybody's talking about really. If BNB goes to $400 or sub 400, I'm buying BNB. Like, and if it goes even lower, I'm buying BNB. BNB was one of the best performers, and it was one of the strongest holds the entire time of this whole cycle. It went from 200, call it $220. Let's just say you had an entry at somewhere around here, like 270. It went up to like 750 within the span of a year. So you hit a 3x in 1 year on unlimited size. And then while the world was dying and all the bullshit was happening with like tariffs and all that stuff, it didn't even dump that much. It went from 730 down to like 550. That's not even like a 50% dip at all. That was like how far of a dip was this from like uh Trump. So like Trump down to here. Yeah, 30% dip. That's nothing compared to everything else. They say the bottom this cycle will be when BNB supposedly will collapse. So that's the only thing that I would say though is you do have a point. Does Binance collapse? Trader Main's last video said we're fairly deep into the bear market and the lows will come sometime this year after maybe a final pump. Yeah, I actually watched that video. Dude, I think Trader Main's assessment and the way that he talks about stuff was so on point. I watched his last video too. One thing that I really liked is that he was openly bullish in other videos and he admitted that he did not sell the top and that he ended up like having to cut at a different point because it lost like certain levels and he saw sentiment start to shift. And I really liked that he basically said the same thing that I said, which was that like I'm sure he was taking profits and stuff. I know he was selling during 2025. People were getting mad at me because I made a video too where I said like I sold everything in 2025 and like, I've been totally stabled and people are like, "Yeah, bro, you didn't sell the top." And I'm like, "I didn't say that I sold the top because I didn't sell the top. I didn't sell the top of Solana, I didn't sell the top of Bitcoin, like I didn't sell the top really of like anything. I was just selling into pumps. Like I was selling when the market was better." So, yeah. I like that he was very open about that too, because it's not like he was like, "Oh, yeah, I sold the top and, I'm the GOAT and now we're fucked." But generally speaking, if it's up to me, I think Bitcoin probably bottoms at like 50K. Maybe it goes down into like the mid 40s. Best value for Bitcoin in a long ass time. Pump to 200K next cycle, maybe higher. Dude, I don't know why. Whenever I get on stream, my nose is always like super itchy. Maybe it's because I'm talking a lot. It seems like no one knows that we are in a bear market and capital preservation is a must. Simply all need to wait until Bitcoin is bottomed in September, October. Yeah, I think that's like one of the reasons why I'm like starting to get a little, I wouldn't say like depressed, but like bored because there is a strong chance that this year is just dump and chop. And it's going to take a lot for myself and other people to be patient and only trade the right stuff on chain and to not burn your cash trying to make money in a market that is dumping. Rather, a lot of people would be better off stacking money, working, making more money, and being patient for good entries on Bitcoin towards the end of the year. You think there is still hope for people with a small port, 10 to 15 soul port? Yeah, of course, but you have to like really grind. Like you have to be like really grinding. Anybody can still make it. Like Solana is not, and I know I was saying like a lot about Solana. Like Solana is not done. There's still a lot of opportunity on Solana. There's still a lot of coins that run on Solana, but it's very quick. It's like you got to be in and out of a coin super fast because that's what everyone else is doing. And so if you can sit there and if you can identify narratives and get into coins like super quick, hit a 50%, get out, do it again, in and out, just like constantly like trading the way that everyone else is trading. And if you can do that, then yeah, I do think that it is a lot harder for people that only have like a 15 soul port. Was that like $1,500 that are that don't have a lot of time to trade, if that makes sense. Like people that don't have 12 hours a day to sit on their computer because they have a family, a job, and like that kind of thing, and may only have like 2 or 3 hours. I think it's a little bit harder there. Um, but you either take advantage of the time that you have to like really grind it out and make it happen, or you just sit there and wait for really good opportunities and then you just size a little bit more into coins that could do well that maybe aren't like super fast. Like if you can find ways to identify whatever the next goyim is, or other coins that are maybe at like 500K to a million that could go to like 2 to 3 to 4 mil. What's your target soul price before buying a lot of soul? Like $50 lower? This is your first bull cycle and I burned like 300K. Lesson learned. The thing about whenever you are in your first cycle and you made a lot of money and round tripped a lot of it, it changes you in a lot of different ways. Because for me personally, I should have made a lot more money, but the entire time we were in a bull market, I was just quick scalping coins on like a daily basis. I wasn't holding stuff long enough. I definitely should have been. It was really hard for me to get off of that, but I could have walked away with more money, but I also was a habitual profit taker when it came to any of the shit coins that I was buying, and also majors. And so while I probably could have more money now, I also am walking away from last cycle. I call it last cycle, but like the cycle that we were just in last month or 2 months ago, with way more than I had when I walked into it. And so I got to be happy with that. It just changes your ability to believe, if that makes sense. Like, because once you've round tripped a lot, you say to yourself, man, I'm not going to do that again. It really does change the way that you approach things. But I think that was good for me. There's not really anything that I think that I would have done differently from last cycle to right now. I think I played it well. I think my greed started to get to me a little bit, and I left money on the table because I definitely round trip some stuff, did get greedy and whatnot. But if I could go back, this if I could go back, the main thing that I think that I would do differently is I would just not trade when I know that I shouldn't be trading. I run a group, Canto, a lot of people in there, great people, great community. If you want a free membership, you can open up a ticket in Discord right now and I'll give you access whenever I end stream. But one thing about being the founder of a trading group is that people are always looking for trades. People always want to trade. And yeah, there are trades on a daily basis for sure. But there's periods where I was trading and I shouldn't have been. Over the summer, there was a month in there, I think it was May or June, that I shouldn't have been trading. I would say like December, I traded a little bit more than I should have and I shouldn't have been. January of this year, I traded because I should have been trading and then I didn't really execute well. And I had a really bad month on Solana and ended up making like half of it back via BNB and base. But I think that's like the biggest thing is that I wish that I wasn't, I wish that I didn't feel the pressure to trade on a daily basis just because I'm on my computer. And I think that moving forward, that's going to be my one big thing is like only trading when the market is good. Did I hit Aster? I did, but I sold way too early. I made like 50K on Aster. But I had, dude, I had like 50K in at 30 cents and it went to $3. So I fumbled 400K. Shouldn't have traded Seeker. Shouldn't have traded, dude, I shouldn't have traded Seeker. I shouldn't have bought Gastown. I shouldn't have bought Ralph. And so that's one of the things that, like, as much as I like run the group that I run, there are times when you should not trade. And I am not going to trade during the times that I should not be trading moving forward, especially now that we're like in a bear market. You know you won't be able to do that? No, I won't. No. I actually it's going to be a lot easier for me to not trade as much because we're starting to move into a bear market. You have to realize that the sentiment amongst other traders is that a lot of people are scared. So a lot of people are going to be believing a lot less than they normally do. Hence, the opportunity is going to be riskier when trading. And so, what I'm going to do personally is I'm going to sit at my computer and I am going to wait for the best opportunities to pop up. And I'm only going to trade when I think it's like a really good opportunity. And that's it. You're a nonstop trader like Scented? I don't think I'm like Scented. You can still make money in a bear market. You got to be stricter. 100%. That's exactly what I'm going to do too. I will trade the bear market. I will trade. I'm just going to be very specific about what I trade. Like a lot of these really dog shit narratives that pop up on a daily basis, I'm not going to trade. How long do you think the bear market lasts? I think market probably dumps all year. Bottom in Q4 of this year. Chop, maybe like a little bounce into the beginning of 2027. And then things start to rip leading up into the halving of like the next Bitcoin halving. What's nice about trading perps is you can make money longing and shorting, bear market, bull market, etc. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm not doing perps though. I know what you're saying, but there also comes a time during a bear market when volume is so low and volatility is so low that like you're trading like the worst ranges ever. I wonder when it will be over forever. You know, there's probably a lot of people that would respond to that and say, like, it'll never be over. And I don't think it will. But at the same time, if you think about a world where it is over, if you think about a world where you're right, like, what if it ends? What if all the failed experiments and all of the failed projects and all of the rugs eventually deem the space like unbuildable, unscalable? What if the best true utility for crypto is just stable coins? And that's it. It's interesting because you can't really like I bet you that if you went into other streamers' chats and you asked them that, they're gonna be like, bro, it's never gonna die. Never gonna die. And I don't think it does. But I also think about what if it did? Like what if it did? And it would be weird because this is such a great market. There's so much opportunity and it's such a liquid trading environment. One of the things that really fucking sucks about Pokemon cards is how they're so liquid. They're bricks. They're hard to sell. Um, they're hard to acquire. You have to buy them, ship them, like all that kind of stuff. Part of me, not gonna lie, has been highly considering like starting a Pokemon like platform or something like that to try to solve some of those problems. We're in a gambling pandemic. It only accelerates from here. I do agree with that. I did make that tweet actually like the other day where it's like one of the reasons why I don't think that everything just dies and Solana and like shitcoins and everything doesn't just go away is because the chances of making millions outside of crypto and like outside of some very niche different collectible hobbies and shit like that is lower than it's ever been. And so most people are going to basically go into hyper gambling mode and it's just going to be like who can gamble better, and those are going to be the people that are going to make it. I was one of those people. I gambled better and therefore I won the cycle. But I'm also mature enough to know when to slow down a little bit so I don't fuck my life up and give back gains. Bear market ends when Trump steps down. Well, he's not stepping down. And you have to think about it like this. We're how long? 1 year into a Trump presidency, basically. Right? The market's probably going to be slow for the next year, year and a half. And then things are going to start to speed up because the Bitcoin halving is always in an election year. And if things do get bad and the markets start to deem Trump as like, I mean, they already do, but like if they really start to deem Trump as a wild card that is a negative force on the market, if there are two candidates for the next presidency and both of them are less volatile and you and the markets say to like everybody, okay, both of these candidates would be a refresh and it would be like a lot calmer and a lot less stressful and like that kind of thing. the markets are going to start to price that in. They're going to say, okay, if there are two candidates, these are the two people that are going to potentially be the president. And if they are less, they're less volatile than Trump, the markets are definitely going to price those in. And that is going to be a thing for sure. And so a less volatile candidate for president, along with like the Bitcoin halving, along with the fact that like it seems like the 4-year cycle is still intact, that's great. What we don't want is we don't want candidates that are going to be very, like, you don't want a candidate that you say to yourself, man, they could really fuck this shit up. That's why I really don't want to turn this into a political type of stream or anything. So let's just like turn all of like the political stuff completely off. But one of the things that was interesting about Biden is that we did go into a bear market, obviously off of the heels of COVID, during the middle of Biden's presidency. And then the markets rebounded super hard. And there wasn't any tariff conversation or like anything like that. There wasn't like, Biden wasn't necessarily going in and doing wars. Now, Israel did invade Gaza, which nuked the markets, which was kind of not really like our fault, but like, because that stuff is going to happen. And Russia invaded Ukraine. So like there's going to be things that are like outside of our control. But like one of the things about Biden is that like you didn't have to worry about him doing anything because he didn't do anything. The difference though is instead of in like the Biden presidency, instead of other like a lot of other wars being started, instead you had, and those are things that like could disrupt the market. Now you got Trump doing all the tariff stuff and like, and that was arguably like worse for the market at the time than when like Russia invaded Ukraine. The market didn't dump nearly as much when that happened than when Trump did the tariff stuff. So anyway, I mean, I'm kind of just using this as like, I'm thinking about all this stuff from like the financial standpoint of it, not any of the other stuff. So just don't like, I don't want to make this into anything that it shouldn't be. Basically, you want a candidate who's predictable and doesn't cause uncertainty. That's really like what yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Forget all the other stuff about Biden. He was predictable. You knew he wasn't going to do shit. A lot of people didn't like that in terms of like society, in terms of society. Because everyone's like, he's not doing anything to push society forward. Yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I'm not going to get into all that. From a market standpoint, he was predictable. You knew what he was going to do. You knew that he wasn't going to rock the boat. Trump rocks the boat. Markets don't like that. So anyway, that's kind of my thought on that. Is like, it's not about who I like and who I don't like. It's about having more certainty within markets. Markets don't like uncertainty. Uncertainty does create volatility, which creates opportunity, but yeah. The Crypto Clarity Act got pushed around and Brian Armstrong didn't like it. Yeah, I remember. Bought Goyam at 900K. I know. I've had this pulled up like the entire time. I'm not even in that coin. I need a Zinjamin. Damn, toilet kind of looked like it was gonna pump there. I still don't know what the fuck this is. Do I think that Tolly should be more supportive of memes? If it were me, I would. I don't know what his I don't know what he wants to accomplish really by not fully supporting meme coins and shit coins, because this is the way that I think about it if I was in his shoes. Let's say that he hates meme coins and shit coins and he doesn't want Solana to be known as like the meme coin and shit coin chain, and he thinks that DeFi and all the other things that are being built on Solana, that's what it should be all about. That's great. Okay. You can believe that. Don't go out and say that. Like, you can sit at your computer if you are the founder of Solana and say to yourself, I really hate that my chain has become the casino for shit coins and meme coins. And then go and make a tweet and just be like, we support all different aspects of Solana, whether it's meme coins and shit coins and DeFi. Like, you can just go and just be like, yeah, we like it. Even if you sit there and you don't like it. It's really not, in my opinion, it doesn't help when you have a chain that is mainly known for something, when you have things that are going well and like there's a lot of volume and there's a lot of stuff being built on Solana, for meme coins and shit coins. It's like, why even bother pushing it away or not fully supporting it? That's my thought. Like, you can not like it, but why vocalize that? Right? That's kind of my thing. But if it were me, and I'm not the founder of Solana, but like, if I didn't like something that was on my chain or whatever, I could understand that like you have enough money and it's so big that you think that it can't fail and you can be vocal about it. But if you know that there's like a certain aspect of your chain that a lot of people use and like and that kind of thing, you either just don't say anything at all about it or just not crash, like don't talk shit about it. Like, you either just ignore it or just don't don't like don't say something negative. They're saying Met is the number 2 revenue generating app on base. Then why the fuck was it at 0 forever? I'm so mad about this, dude. I'm literally so mad about Kelly Claude. This coin has literally just been chilling at fucking all-time highs for 3 days. All right, is there anything else that we want to go over? Any other thoughts? Any other discussions? Man, awesome stream today. So much. I bet you I probably got like 30 fucking clips from this stream. I won't have to stream for a month. Take me back to October B&B, dude. I agree. I fucking killed it on B&B. Couldn't lose. Could not lose. Literally had a full month of not losing at all. Yo, third, I'm gonna ask one thing. I'm not getting off just yet. I'm gonna stay on for like a little bit longer, I think. Just to see if there's like anything else that we want to go over. But I would I would appreciate, I know you always do put in like a lot of time into these, but like I would say that this was definitely like one of the better streams. And so if you wouldn't mind like going through basically like this whole thing and like almost clipping everything, that would be awesome. Because this, like, a lot of the stuff that I said is going to be great. I think one of the big things that I changed to feel better about what's like myself and like what's going on is like I'm just getting more sleep and drinking coffee in the morning again. like stopped drinking coffee for whatever reason. Just followed on Twitter. Love the stream. Actual thoughtful conversation rather than hyper gambling F and F boys. Yeah, I mean, I trade shitcoins, not low caps like that, but um, I'm also like older. You know, like I'm 30, so I am like I trade the market. I like the market. I like to trade. I understand what people are doing. I like to do what I do. Probably make more money if uh I could probably make more money if I trenched and like I did more stuff like that. And I will say that a part of what I've been thinking to myself is like, do I just start to like fucking trench? But I also just ask myself, like, am I better off making more content, trading good opportunities, just not sizing into things, waiting for the market to bottom out? Because, dude, if I just wait, if I am able to be patient and I don't blow up my portfolio, which I won't, but like if I can just be patient until like close to the bottom of the bear market, I'm going to fucking print literally by taking one trade and that, or three trades, like buying Bitcoin, Hyperliquid, and Solana near the lows, and then just sitting on my hands and doing nothing, and then just watching it fucking pump forever during the next bull market. Like I could ideally make more money simply by waiting for the market to bottom out. And then if it doesn't, and then we go bullish again and like the market is super good and we just don't go into a full blown bear market for whatever reason, there's going to be tons of shit coins and stuff to trade anyway. So it's like one or the other. If there's a lot of volume and opportunity and we're not in a bear market, trade that. Or even if we are in a bear market, it doesn't even make a difference either way. There could be a lot of volume and opportunity. We can be in the bottom of the bear. Shit happened last time. I'm just sizing down. Less size. Lower my expectations. Pepe spawned in the bear. I literally bought Pepe on day one. I bought Pepe when it was less than 24 hours old. And I sold the same day. I went on a trip. I bought Pepe. I made like 3K on it. And I said, wow, I just paid for my entire trip and more on this trade. And I literally fumbled like, I don't even know how much. At the tippy top, it would have been like 8 figures for sure. If you're talking about like the 2, 3, 4, $5 million market cap range, like probably like 3 or 4 or 5 mil. I also, I was in SPX at 2 mil. I literally traded SPX 6900 on like day one. I bought MOG like within a couple days of it launching. I was literally in all of the shitcoins on ETH like the day they launched. Because everyone literally would just sit around all day and just wait for the cook to spawn. And everyone would blast it. It was different because what was happening is people needed to come together. They needed to launch a coin. They had to have a plan for it. And then they had to go out and like actually launch good coins. Fuck. That's the difference. Everyone would fucking blast the coins that were running. And there weren't that many of them. So you could sit around all day and just wait for the cooker. And then everyone would fucking just buy it. And it was great. The times are different, dude. Season 1 Fortnite type shit. Literally. Literally. Nowadays, dude. Now, just not the same. It is not the same as it once was. I actually remember during the bear market on ETH, it was so easy. But I also had less money at the time and I didn't want to risk as much because I was holding out. I was like, so what happened during like the bear market is I did make good money on ETH trading, but the issue is that I was too afraid to size into things and to take a lot of risk because everyone knew that we were in a bear market and everyone was kind of just waiting for the bull to start. And so I kept saying to myself, like, I don't want to risk too much on this stuff because I would rather just hold into the next bull market, which I did. And then um ETH was underperforming and shitcoins started popping off on Solana. And the best trade that I really made was when I swapped all my Solana into, or all my ETH into Solana. And then I started trading shitcoins on Solana and did really well. And then traded forever and then hit Trump and then, yeah, cooked. Man, I'm going to get emotional. It's very weird to think about how much time has gone by between now and then. Like a lot of time. I'm new to ETH. How much should I begin to trade with on base? Literally, however much you want, however much you're willing to lose. Time flies, for sure. I can't even believe that it's February of 2026. My dog died almost a year ago, and I can't believe how long it's been since then already. Jeez. That feeling when high school was almost a decade ago? Dude, I graduated from college like 7 years ago. That's crazy that it's been almost a year. It's insane to think about. Like, absolutely insane. What's also weird is like we got a new cat, and that cat we've almost had for like 6 months. And this is just gonna pump forever. I like cats, actually. I'm a big cat guy. A lot of people don't like cats because they never had the right cat. I'm actually kind of mad about this. Cats are great when you get one with a good personality. Yeah, 1,000,000%. We have two cats that like they're whatever. You know, they kind of just hang out. We gave them a good home. They're not on the street. They like the other cats. But to find a cat that like resonates with you and that loves you and is like your pal and has like a good personality, dude, unmatched. Unmatched when you get a cat that like really is like fully there. Cats are luck of the draw. You have to really get to know them. I mean, it's similar with dogs too. But like, dude, if you get like the right cat, they're great. And the best thing is you could get a cat that has like the same or similar companionship to a dog and they're way smaller. Small cats can be very smart. You don't have to take them out. like to poop. They can take care of themselves. It's just different. But like I said, you know, we also have a cat that we have one cat that we never even fucking see. She literally just hangs out in the windowsill all day. All her entire life is just cuddling the other cats at night, sitting in the window all day, and then eating and shitting. And then she like never even bothers to hang out with us. What did I do out of college? I streamed on Twitch and I got a corporate job working for a major company that I worked for 3 years and then quit. I got into trading shitcoins and NFTs. And then I haven't worked a corporate job in 4 years now. Multopoly, Agents Live, Human Spectate. Have I done my taxes for this year? Yeah, I have. Yeah, this wallet is fucking crazy. You might be onto something. Hmm. If you want to do your taxes, get a membership with awaken.tax. I can try to get you a discount code if you want. And get an accountant. And that's what you're going to have to do. Awaken is really good. But yeah, I've already done my taxes. I've already paid. I have meetings to finalize like expenses and stuff, but the good news is that I was paying my taxes like all of like last year already. So it's nice because I don't owe like a massive amount right now. You look into it, just tag me in Kanto chat whenever I get off stream. What's up, raw goat milk? Yeah, they bundled this. Like crazy. All right, sorry. I had to put this into Kanto. I don't, dude, I feel like if I buy this, I'm gonna get mega fucking rugged. Hmm. How long do you guys think until this rugs? This is the wallet that I track that has like 2%. Damn, what the fuck? This guy's had a terrible month. Oh my god. Bro, this guy's like the GOAT. How did he lose so much money? Jesus Christ. This guy lost 150K on perch. God damn. Jeez. I guess I haven't looked into that guy's wallet in a while. Guy's been getting his ass kicked. Are you gonna lock or what? Oh, there it is. All right. I don't want to keep this stream too long. I think we had a good time. And I'm gonna hop off, I think. I am giving out free months to Kanto. So if you're in here and you'd like a free month to my group, join Kanto, open a ticket, give me 30 minutes. I'll take care of it. Third, I will upload the stream to the drive within 20 minutes as well. If you open a ticket, actually respond to it, because a lot of times there will be people that like will want a membership and then not fucking follow up with it or whatever. Last thing that I'll say, I don't know what's going to happen with the market. I'm going to try to be super patient. I don't know if the Cooker is buying this Multopoly coin. I don't know if like how long it's going to last, but I will tell you this. I was here all of last bear market. I'm going to be here the entire bear market this time. The only thing is that I definitely want to like move and get like a different place now. Now that the market's like a little bit slower, like I've kind of like outgrown this room, even though it's chill. But you guys can't see that like I have like a lot of stuff stacked up here. But yeah, that's like the only thing I'd really like to get change of scenery. So hopefully that'll be something that'll happen soon. Otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna hop off. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later.